Good evening. You are watching Channel 1 News and I'm Zara Kapoor. Tonight, we bring you a story of innovation, passion, and sustainability straight from Patiala, Punjab. At the prestigious Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, 8 students have done the unimaginable. They have turned ordinary grass into paper. Yes, you heard that right. Grass paper. Before moving on to the correspondent, let me introduce you to those 8 brilliant minds.
Thank you, Zara. I'm at Thapar Patiala, the ground zero of a fascinating green experiment. I'm with the team which is behind this fascinating project. So let's meet the team. So, what sparked the idea behind this project?
Ma'am, it honestly started with just one uncomfortable thought. Why are we still cutting trees when grass regrows faster than we can even blink? Every year, millions of trees are chopped just to make paper, and nobody notices the damage until the forests appear thinner and the air feels heavier. We keep hearing about deforestation, climate change, rising temperatures, and it dawned that we are the generation who will deal with the consequences. That is why we chose grass. It's abundant, renewable, and we don't have to destroy an entire ecosystem. If saving a tree is as simple as using grass, then why not try? That's exactly what Push does into creating paper the greener way. Not just for notebooks, but even for eco friendly packaging that replaces harmful paper and plastic alternatives.
Welcome back to the studio. Now let's get deeper into how this thought led to the innovation.
So it all started with the collecting of raw material. We went to an open ground, collected the grass. After collecting it, the first thing we did was to spread it under the sunlight to dry it properly. It took about 5 to 6 days. At that time, the outside temperature was about 30 degrees centigrade.
Then we focused on measuring the moisture content of dried grass. This step is important because if the moisture isn't controlled, the pulp quality changes and it affects the final paper strength and the moisture content came out to be 16.66%.
Then we prepared a solution of NaOH whose normality was 2.5 normal and it was later used to soften the fiber of grass.
Next step was a very important step. We maintained the proper bath ratio, that means the correct proportion of NaOH, dried grass, and water, as it ensures uniform cooking and proper softening of the fiber. Then we loaded the NaOH, water, and the grass into the digester for and make it cook. It took about 35 to 40 minutes to cook it properly.
After cooking, the mixture contained sorting fibers along with black liquor, which was removed using a cloth filter. The black liquor was removed because it affects the pulp quality, color, and the strength of the paper.
After separating the black liquor, we performed a small analysis to check the pH and RAA, residual active alkali. The pH came out to be 10 and the RAA was 1.811 gram per liter, which is acceptable. The next step was to wash the fibers through clean water.
The next step in our process was screening. Before screening, we mixed the semi-cooked pulp with the semi-cooked pulp fibers with the water in a bucket. We poured the mixture onto a sieve. This helped us to separate out the unusable material from the usable fibers. The water and the pulp fell into the bucket, which had a mesh at its bottom. This helped us to collect the soft, uniform, visible fibers. The result was separated out.
First, we took the screen and clean pulp fibers and added it to clean water to make a uniform smooth slurry. Then we dipped the mesh frame into slurry, lifted it evenly, and allowed the water to drain through the mesh and let the pulp settle on the surface to form a thin even layer. The result was a wet paper sheet on the mesh surface. Pulp properties yield came out to be 2.22%.
Then it was kept for drying for 2 days and later it was sent for molding.
Great. It seems you had a great journey in the process of making grass. Now we move forward and can you enlighten us about the disadvantages of the grass paper?
See, as such, there are no disadvantages of grass paper as per our knowledge, but there are some, we can say setbacks about it. First of all, what we find that its yield is very less as compared to the normal paper. It came out to be almost 22%, which is less because the normal wood paper yield is about 40%. Second, we didn't measure some properties which are actually important for its industrial use, like the silica content, its inorganic content, and all. So because of the limited resource, we weren't able to measure them. But in future, if we got the opportunity to work on it, we will definitely measure it, and accordingly we would be telling you if it's industrially applicable or not.
Thank you. And now, can you tell us about the disadvantages of the grass paper?
The biggest advantage of the grass paper that is that we have to then that we do not have to cut trees for it, and also it by making grass paper we reduce the material usage and improved workmanship, and also it cut the cost of industrial manufacturing of traditional grass making process.
As of now, the data is not clear, but definitely when we move from experimental stage, we can tell you the how much exact amount that we have saved. Like for the experimental purpose, we weren't able to calculate the exact electricity cost, water usage, but when we would be doing on a big scale, we would be able to tell you.
It was great having you guys on the studio with us. Now let's get back to our ground reporter.
Thank you for your answer. Now let's move on to the next question. How's grass paper better than normal paper?
Our grass paper stands out because it's just a product. It's a statement. Traditional paper costs us thousands of trees every day, while grass grows back in weeks. That makes our raw material renewable, abundant, and more climate friendly. The paper keeps a natural texture and tint because it needs fewer chemicals and less processing. It uses less energy to produce, has a much smaller carbon footprint, and stays fully biodegradable and compostable. In short, it's sustainable, visually unique, and proves that smart innovation can come from something as simple as rethinking grass.
Rightly said. Now let's move on to the next question. And as they say, innovation never stops. So what's next for this young team of changemakers? Let's hear it from them.
Thank you, Ria. This, a grass paper, is just the beginning. We dream of refining it to a fully commercial product, fully stronger, smoother, and ready to replace tree-based paper in daily use. From notebooks to packaging, we want this idea to grow beyond a lab and reach every classroom, every office, and every home. Our vision is simple: a world where the paper no longer costs the planet a trees, and we believe that starts here with us at Thapar.
A powerful vision indeed. One that turns green idea into real world change. From grassroots to innovation roots, these students have shown that sustainability does not belong in textbooks. It belongs in our hands. Thank you.
This is really inspiring how today's Gen Z are working towards the betterment of the motherland. This is the end of today's news. See you next time.